This is chapter 2 of history class 8, and in this video, as I've told you, I don't want to explain the whole topic or thing whatever is there. I am just going to make you learn important things which will help you or will give you the direction to read the whole chapter. So I'm using here one map and one timeline. Both will be very important, and with them I will try to make you understand what exactly is in this chapter. So first, this map. As the chapter says, trade to territory means the people from Britain, through a company which was East India Company, came to India and they wanted to trade. When they started trading, they found that this country is resourceful, so they started controlling its territory. And for that, they had done a lot of things. And this chapter is all about those things, those efforts which they put to control the territory of India. So earlier, when they came to India, there were many other companies already there in India, and those were also East India Company, but they are from the different countries of the Europe, like Portugal. Then you have this France, and then Netherlands. Okay, so they were in India, and these people came from Britain, and they first started trade rivals with them. And when they kind of won that battle of like getting the monopoly of on the trade of India, then they started controlling the territory. And when they started controlling the territory, first of all, they chose the first very important place, which was actually Bengal. At that time, Bengal was not just the territory of West Bengal, which is currently known as West Bengal. That was not the complete territory, but it acquired, or you can say, it consists of some part of Bihar, some part of Jharkhand, some part of Odisha, and some part of Bangladesh as well. So this was the place from where everything started. So the first factory of East India Company, at that time factory doesn't mean the place where they something is being manufactured. At we understand with this word what is the meaning of this word. So it was not that. At that time factory meant the warehouse. So warehouse means where they used to store the things whatever they have brought from outside, or they had to take from India to Britain. So that was the place. So their first factory was established in Hooghly, and Hooghly, you can see it is here near, below Plassey. You can see there is Hooghly river, and there was a place named as Kalikata. Okay, so that was the place which was used first to develop their factory, and it happened in 1651. Then later they controlled three more places in the same area, means Bengal. Three more places. One was Calcutta, other was Govindapuri, and third was Sutinata. So these places were controlled by them, and they got the Diwani rights of these places. Now Diwani rights means the rights which are given to them to collect taxes. So they started collecting taxes from that place, and we all know that at that time the main source of revenue or income for any kingdom, which is today also, that revenue, the taxes. So taxes collection, when they started collecting taxes, they got more money, and when they got more money, they started bringing money from money means they used to have silver and gold, and they used to give them instead of, like, in exchange of the goods which they used to purchase from India. So that reduced the amount of gold and silver which was coming from Britain. But then what happened? They wanted to control the whole this Bengal territory. Now what they did, they started like giving greed to the people they started alluring those people who were working in the kingdoms, like the court of kingdoms. So when they started doing that, the people also started helping him. And in this way, there was a king named Sirajuddaulah. Okay, and he was the Nawab of Bengal after Ali Vardi Khan. So he started like helping East India Company. And when there was a war between Sirajuddaulah, the Nawab of Bengal, and East India Company, he, being the chief of the army of Sirajuddaulah, betrayed him, due to which Sirajuddaulah lost that battle to East India Company. And the battle was Battle of Plassey in 1757. So this was what happened. And then after, there was one more battle, which was Battle of Buxar. It happened between East India Company and Mir Qasim, who became Nawab after Mir Jafar, who was actually the puppet ruler after Sirajuddaulah. ठीक है? So now this happened, and this is why Bengal region is very important. And after this, the Battle of Buxar happened in 1764, and after that year, the East India Company got the Diwani right of the whole territory of Bengal. Then they shifted their interest towards south, and in south there was the kingdom of Mysore, which was being controlled or ruled by Hyder Ali and his son Tipu Sultan. So both of them were very strong, and Tipu Sultan was also known as the tiger of Mysore, because he once killed a tiger without any weapon, alone. So that's why he was so powerful, and his inclination was towards the French East India Company, due to which he stopped giving any kind of value to East India Company, British East India Company, and he stopped trading with them in cardamom, pepper and sandalwood, due to which they got angry with British East India Company, and then they attacked Mysore kingdom. There were 4 battles in a series of Anglo-Mysore war, and then those battles, after those battles, in the last battle in 1799, East India Company succeeded to defeat Tipu Sultan. When Tipu Sultan died, saving his capital Seringapatam in the last battle of Anglo-Mysore war, then this whole territory was controlled by East India Company. And that was the time when they started like expanding. Okay, and they started one thing already. That thing was doctrine of lapse, and the other one subsidiary alliance. So these kind of things they started. These were actually their strategy to capture the area in a different manner, like in a friendly manner. So for subsidiary, I'm going to tell you what is exactly subsidiary alliance. Subsidiary alliance means when the small kingdoms of India will not be allowed to keep their independent army, but East India Company, with the help of their army, will protect those territories, and in exchange the kingdom, the ruler of that kingdom, will give salary, regular salary, to the company's army. And if they fail to do so, their territory will be annexed or captured by East India Company as penalty. So this way they started capturing many of the areas. And if we talk about doctrine of lapse was started by Lord Dalhousie. And when Dalhousie started it, he captured many of the areas under it. What was its idea? Its idea was that if there is no biological son of any king in any kingdom, and the king dies, then the territory will be given to East India Company automatically for the administrative purposes, because there is no real heir of that place. So in that way they started capturing, annexing many of the areas of the Indian subcontinent. Now you see there is one more big empire, the biggest empire at that time. It was Maratha Empire. The Maratha empires, you can see the expansion is very much in the from east to west, we can say, and in the center. So for defeating them, they fought three wars, three battle in the war, Anglo-Maratha war. They fought three battles, and through these three battles, they could succeed to just limit the Maratha Empire to Kanpur in Bithur. And they said to the last rulers of those Maratha Empire to be there, to live their life and get the pension for their survival from the East India Company. So it happened through a long struggle, but it happened very quick. After that, after controlling the whole territory, then the East India Company wanted to create their supremacy, their paramountcy, their whole power on the country. Okay, so what they did, they started making different kind of administrative reforms, okay, in which they converted the you can say the religious laws into English, and then they started making a different form of law. Like there was a federal court introduced in India in 1773, and in that court Hindu and Muslim both laws were like translated into English, and they took the help of Qazi from Qazi and Mufti from Muslim religion, I mean Islam religion, and from the other side, from Hindu, they took the help of Brahman, and they converted all the like religious law book into English. And there was a person whose name was N.B. Halhad. So that person did all this conversion. And now this was the change in the law system. Okay, and the courts were divided into two parts. Earlier it was Faujdari Adalat, it was converted into criminal court. Nowadays also we know it as a criminal court, and you will learn about it in the civics chapter, I think 4, in judiciary chapter. So you'll be learning about it. And the other side, it was Diwani Adalat. Diwani Adalat means the civil laws. So both the courts were helping to give justice to people in India through British East India Company. Then second change was in army. The change in army was to make it more modernized. New techniques, new guns were given, matchlocks, muskets were given to the people, and number of men on horse, cavalry, was reduced, and then they were given more and more weapons. So, and they trained the people, they involved more people, they appointed more people from the peasants group, and then they made more of, like they increased the number of army soldiers in the army. This way they started changing the system. They brought certain revenue systems also, and those revenue systems help them to get more and more money in form of taxes. So you will be learning about that into a different chapter, the new chapter, next chapter. There you will learn about all this. Through this map, I told you the whole story, and I've written in the corner, this side in the corner, where Lakshadweep is, Vasco da Gama, because he was the first person who found the sea route from Europe to India, and it was in the year 1498. So these things are very, very important. Now this sea route, the sea route about which I was talking, is that sea route found by Vasco da Gama from Cape of Good Hope, which was in Africa. So this way they reached to India. And now this is the timeline. Very, very interesting, because I made it myself. So this is very important to understand. See, from where it starts from 1498, when Vasco da Gama came to India and discovered the sea route to India, which helped people to come to India to trade. Okay, in 1600, in the year 1600, EIC, which is East India Company, acquired a charter. Charter means a kind of right given by the Queen Elizabeth I from Britain to do trade with the East, like completely one company got the chance or the monopoly on the trade with East India. So that was a very big thing for East India Company. After that, in 1651, the first English factory was set up on the banks of Hooghly River, which I have already told you. I have shown this on the map also. Then there is, in the year 1696, the company started building a fort around the settlement, where they started making the factory. After that, they started fortification of that area, which actually pinched Sirajuddaulah that in my area, why a particular settlement or the area with settlement is being fortified, why it is being like protected. Okay, so that pinched, and that was also a reason for the Battle of Plassey, which happened in 1757. Ali Bardi Khan died, and Sirajuddaulah became Nawab of Bengal in 1756. And you should know who was the founder of Bengal as a kingdom. So it was Murshid Quli Khan. And it will be more surprising to know that Murshid Quli Khan was not actually a Muslim by birth. He was converted from a Brahmin to Muslim. His real name was Surya Narayan Mishra. So it was an interesting fact. After that, in 1764, again a battle happened in Bihar. Nowadays, Buxar is in Bihar. So the battle of Buxar happened, and after that, the company got Diwani right of Bengal from the Mughal emperor that time, Shah Alam. Then from 1782 to 1799, Tipu Sultan and Hyder Ali got into war with English East India Company. It is also known as Anglo-Mysore War. So there were 4 wars. First fought between 1767 to 69, second between 1780 to 84, third 1790 to 92, and the fourth one when Tipu Sultan died, and this battle happened in the capital of Mysore kingdom, which was Seringapatam. So that was in 1799. And the second series of war which you see, in which there are 3 battles, one was 1782, then second in which there was a treaty signed, the Treaty of Salwai, due to which the war was like there was no clear winner of this, so war was pacified. In the second battle of this Anglo-Maratha, it happened in 1803 to 1805, and in this battle area of Yamuna River, around Yamuna River and Agra was given to East India Company by Maratha Empire. The third battle was the final decision making battle. It was decisive battle. So it was fought between 1817 to 19, and this here Maratha lost, and after that I told you that they got limited into an area Bithur near Kanpur, and they started getting pension, and after that the whole thing finished, and then they started establishing their paramountcy. Britishers started establishing their paramountcy through different methods, through different changes in administration, which I discussed already through the map. So this is how we can understand this chapter. Very, very interesting. If you will learn this chapter now after seeing this video, and you will read the chapter thoroughly, you will get to know that how these things were very simple. So please learn it, read it again, and you will get the complete picture of this. Thank you so much.